Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the second part of my reading 17 books in 18 days vlog. I'm filming this like right after the cutoff from my last vlog. I just finished Weather and I am going to be picking up one of the 11 books that I have left. I have about 4,000 pages to read over the course of the next 9 days. So that's about 450 every day. So that's a lot. Reading is hard. Hi! It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. What has happened since I last talked to you? Not a lot. I don't know where it is right now, but I am almost done with Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is the second Laclamora Gentleman Bastards book. It's a reread for me, so it's like I don't have to super pay attention. And I probably won't update you too much once I finish it because, you know, it's a reread. I love it. There's not that much to say. I am a little bit farther into the corrections. This far, not that far. Today is going to be a reading heavy day, but it's already 4:45. I have been reading so much, but it feels like I'm not even making any progress. Look at my cats right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Look at how sweet they are. Hi everyone. It is a Sunday at like 4 p.m. or so. I haven't checked in the last few days because I went on a surprise trip to Massachusetts to see my family. Oh man, this is it. We're gonna ignore it. But I am still very far behind, but I have gotten farther into Nevermore or Wundersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow, and The Poppy War, and I am loving both of them so much. I am 189 pages through Wundersmith, and I am 162 pages into The Poppy War. I listened to this on audiobook when we were driving to Massachusetts, and both of these are so good. The Poppy War is written so well. I have not read any with my eyes yet, but when I first started listening, I didn't like the audiobook for some reason, but after getting into it, I lost my annoyance with whatever was annoying me, and I really enjoyed it. It's just engaging. Like, it was engaging from the very beginning, and everything is happening kind of quickly, and so far she has taken her test. She's in the first year of her military academy, and she has just made her pledge. I won't say what she's pledged to, but it's so good. I love that we're rooting for Ren even though she's not a perfect character. I think this is a really good example of a flawed character that we're supposed to like, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm going to try to read with my eyeballs more, just because the audiobooks take so long. And then Wundersmith, so far I'm liking this so much more than the first book in the series. I think we had to lay the base work for what was going on, I guess, in the first book, and now Morrigan is in classes at the Wondrous Society, and I just love school. Like, I love reading books about magical schools or like really elite training schools. Like, both The Poppy War and Wundersmith have that aspect, and both Morrigan and Ren are experiencing not necessarily, I mean, in some cases racism, but stereotypes and prejudice, and there's a lot of parallels between these two books, which is interesting to be reading them at the same time. Now that I have an understanding of Nevermore, I'm just enjoying being there so much more, and it's going into more detail, whereas one of the issues, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's seagulls going crazy out there. One of the issues that I had with the first book was that a lot of the trials were just glossed over. I don't know, that irritated me for some reason, but in this I feel like we're actually spending time in situations, and I am really enjoying it so far. And in both of these as well, there's also a male-female friendship that seems to be platonic, and I love that. I hope it doesn't change in either of them to a romance, but I don't think it will. I just think it's lovely and nice, and allows kids to realize that they can have more feelings for people than just love. So if you feel this, you know, if you're a young girl and you feel this, like, being drawn to a boy, it doesn't necessarily mean that you love him. It could just mean that you're friends with him, and that allows you to, like, open up your mind to the possibilities of loving other people. It's not as, like, limiting, you know? So I really appreciate that in both of these as well. I only have the rest of today and then 3 more full days, and I still have these 2 to finish. Oh, I did start Papillon. I'm on page 25. The corrections I've read some more in, but it's over there and I'm not going to go get it because I'm lazy. And then the all graphic novels and the whole Night Circus, which I was supposed to read during Buzzwordathon, but I didn't. If there's 2 that I don't finish this month, it'll be the Night Circus and Papillon. But I'm still going to try, like, if I finish everything and have a day left, I'll still try to read those. Oh, fuck. And I have the Way of Kings. So I'm definitely going to roll over the Way of Kings because there's just no way. But I'm also worried that I'm speeding through these books so fast that I'm not really taking them in. And for me, reading isn't about the numbers, it's about the enjoyment and really, like, living in a book. So maybe I should never have done this challenge to begin with, because it is forcing me to read really quickly and therefore get less enjoyment out of it. So I'm going to take my time with these books so that I'm actually enjoying them. And if I don't finish 3 out of the 17 books, that'll still be 14 books in 18 days. Like, that's still good. I guess I better go get reading. Hi, this is a pretty precarious filming situation, but I am at a wildlife nature preserve and with Brian, and he's drawing, so I figured now would be a good time to update you guys on my reading. So it is the 29th. I have the rest of today and all of tomorrow to finish. This morning I did finish The Poppy War. I have thoughts on it. They're mostly good thoughts. Okay, that's not working, so we're just gonna do... How's this? Not the most flattering, but... And there's a moth on my... Okay, we're just gonna let him hang out. Oh, I'm actually really scared of moths, but I'm gonna let this guy chill. Oh, okay, bye. So I finished The Poppy War this morning. I generally liked it. I thought it was well written for the most part, and I was feeling like I was leaning towards like a 3.5 or a 3.75, and then I talked to my friend Will, who also read it this month, and we talked about it more and like my kind of issues with it, and I think it's all stuff that is setting the story up for the rest of the series. So I think that like some of the issues I had were that Ren was either thinking all one way or all the other way, and there was like no room for her to be morally gray. Like it was either all or nothing. And I didn't love that. I thought it was kind of not contradictory, but there's room for this gray area. But I think that that gray area will be explored throughout the series and like will be part of her character development. So after talking to Will about that, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that. And so I ended up rating it 4 stars. I both liked and disliked where the story went. I don't want to say too much because a lot of it could be seen as spoilers, but the book takes a turn and she goes away from the academy. And Will and I were talking about this too, like it's hard to stay in the academy vibe and not be like so many other fantasies. Like there are so many fantasies that take place, like, or training books, you know, like Harry Potter, Nevermore. There's a whole bunch. I can't think of them right now, but that's what a lot of people enjoy as well. So it's like, on one hand, I'm really glad that the whole book wasn't just about the training academy, because it sets this book apart, and I really like that. But on the other hand, I enjoyed that part of the book more, but I understand why that choice was made, I think. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I do plan on continuing the series. Like I said, Brian and I are at a wildlife preserve, and I'll probably read here for a little bit and then go home and spend the rest of today and all day tomorrow reading to finish as much as I can. I think I'll be able to finish Wundersmith and the corrections, and then the only book I won't have finished for Bookopoly would be Papillon and The Way of Kings. So overall, that's still pretty good. If I can finish those 2, I'll be happy. And then if I can finish the graphic novels on top of that, I'll be really happy. I agree.
Yeah, this is cool.
This is the last day of this 18 days. It's September 30th. It is like 3:30 p.m. and I am just in kind of a bummer mood. So I am going to take a nap, but I wanted to update you guys before I did that. I am almost done with Wundersmith. I have that much left. I probably should read it before I nap. I love this book so much, and I don't want to finish it, and I don't want to read things after it, but I have to. But I'm so happy to find a book that I loved in this whole 18 days. So far, this is the only 5-star read of the entire time, and I really needed it today, and so I'm very happy with that. I will talk about it more after I nap. I'll see you on the other side. It looks like I've caught them, walked in on them in the middle of them making out. I'm so sorry. Did I interrupt? Oh no. There you go. Hello again. It is post-nap, and I thought that taking a nap would put me in a better mood, but I have finished the corrections. So this is the story of Enid and Alfred, 2 parents. Alfred has Parkinson's and potentially has Alzheimer's, and their 3 kids, Gary, Chip, and Denise, and it's kind of all centered around Enid is not happy in her life because she is married to a man who has never given her the love that she needed or wanted, and he is going, I mean, they're getting old, and he is forgetful and having hallucinations and just like sliding downwards. And so what she wants more than anything is for her family to come home for Christmas. One last Christmas in the Midwest. All of her kids have moved to the East Coast. That's like the undercurrent of the entire book, is she's trying to get them home for Christmas. And then we get little snippets in the lives of Chip, Denise, and Gary and their situations. And each of them is just so sad. And Gary is in a really weird, manipulative marriage. Chip has gotten fired from a job that he loved and is like floundering and trying to figure things out and lying about where he works, and is like sex crazy and just shitty. And Denise is this like up and coming chef star, but her personal life is in chaos and she is figuring out her sexuality. And then you get all of their feelings in relation to their parents and how each of them differs in like which parent they like quote unquote side with, and how you see those behaviors from the parents in the kids, but no one can acknowledge that or like sees it. Like, one of my life philosophies is to chase happiness at all costs. I mean, and be a good human. Like, those two things. Be a good human and never settle for anything less than happiness. And I think these people in this book don't even know what would bring them happiness. And they can't figure it out. And they're stuck in these weird social constructs that they've created for themselves. Or, I mean, they're social constructs, but that they feel like they need to subscribe to. And then there are the ones who don't, but that doesn't make them happy either. And it's just, don't read this unless you fully can accept being heavily bummed out for the entirety of this book. I kind of felt this way when I read Patsy by Nicole Dennis Benn. Because it's a good book. It's just like, it makes you feel so heavy. Like, there's not glimpses of hope. Right now, I think I'm undecided. I would go somewhere between a 3 and a 4. It's definitely not a 5-star. And this is why I don't read books like this normally, because I don't want to know about how shitty humans can be and about these like terrible relationships that people can have and feel justified in them. And I don't want to explore the human condition, because I know the human condition can be really depressing. So that's why I don't read shit like this. I read shit like this because it makes me happy and it talks about dark stuff, but in a really fun way. So after I finished the corrections, I did finish Wundersmith because I needed happiness. And I loved this book so much. I feel like everything I was hoping for in the first book is what I got in this second book. I cannot wait for the third book. Like, I'm fully obsessed with Nevermore now. I totally understand why everyone loves it. Morrigan Crow in Wundersmith. She is in her first year of studying at the Wonder Society, and no one is allowed to know other than her classmates and her teachers that she's a Wundersmith. She is still being treated poorly by pretty much everyone except for her best friend Hawthorne and Jupiter. All of her classmates, once they find out that she's a Wundersmith, they're scared of her. They don't really want to hang out with her. None of the teachers want to teach her. People start to go missing in Nevermore, and they all sort of have something to do with the Wonder Society, and nobody really knows what's going on. And Jupiter has to go explore and figure out what's going on, and meanwhile he also is trying to help Morrigan realize that she's not terrible, that being a Wundersmith isn't this horrible thing, and she's being drawn in a bunch of different directions and feeling resentful for being feared and hated still when she's like this sweet, wonderful loyal person. I totally get why people say it has Harry Potter vibes now. It's like that combination of academia, friendships, fun, figuring out magic, and then there's this overarching looming darkness that is like encroaching on this fun thing. And so it's a good combination of fun, whimsy, and intrigue. I love Morrigan. I love Hawthorne. I love Jupiter. I love everyone except for Ezra Squawk. So my plans, it is currently like 5:30 or something. So my boyfriend is working until midnight. So I have the apartment to myself until then. And I think I'm going to try to stay awake, probably stay up till midnight or later, and at least try to finish these 4 graphic novels. I don't think it will be that difficult for me to do. It's now 10 o'clock and I have finished all 3 of the Saga volumes that I wanted to. I gave volume 4 4 stars, volume 5 5 stars, and volume 6 4 stars. I don't have much to say because everything would be a spoilery, but I think I like the ones the most that people die in. They tend to be more emotional, which is kind of fucked up. I will probably be continuing this series, but I also am not like chomping at the bit. Can't wait to read them. I'm gonna start Nimona. I don't know anything about Nimona. It looks super cute. If there's one thing, 2 things that the year 2020 is missing, it's these 2 things. This is how I spend the majority of my time. Ash on my chest and a book in my hand. It's 11:30 and I just finished Nimona and it was so cute. So it's about a hero and a villain, and Nimona shows up for the villain and wants to be his sidekick, and they form an unlikely friendship. We learn that not everything is as it seems, and that sometimes being labeled a hero or a villain isn't really truth. And it was just a really cute and sweet and just a wonderful little story. I'm gonna give this 5 stars. And I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this whole adventure. This is the 13th book that I read in 18 days. I probably did the math wrong. Good morning. So it is now October 1st. The 18 days is officially over and I completed 14 of the 17 books. I read Where the Crawdads Sing, Lock Every Door, Cantorus, Saga Volume 3, 4, 5, and 6, Mexican Gothic, Weather, Red Seas Under Red Skies, The Poppy War, The Corrections, Wundersmith, and Nimona. Overall, I read 4,146 pages and divided over 18 days, that's 230 pages a day. I'm pleased with myself. It's been a shit show of a month in a few different ways, and so I'm proud of myself for making it to 14 books at all. Some of them I loved, some of them I didn't. I learned actually kind of a lot during this challenge. I've learned that I don't typically love new releases. I learned I'm picky as shit. I learned forcing yourself to read a shit ton is not that fun. And I don't want to do that again. And I've also learned I can quit fooling myself and pretending like I'm gonna like smart books. Because I don't. The books that I didn't finish for this challenge were The Way of Kings, no surprise, Papillon, and The Night Circus. Those 3 books, but I'm gonna pick up The Night Circus today. I'm gonna continue both The Way of Kings and Papillon as well. I guess that's it for me. If you have watched this whole thing, which I highly doubt, but if you have, I really appreciate it, and I would love to chat about any and all of the books that I talked about here. I'm going to be talking about them in my wrap-up as well, so you probably don't need to watch both, but either way, let me know your thoughts, and if you're bummed that I didn't get to any of the books that I didn't get to, I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you in the next one. Jillian says that she can't wait. So, bye.